Hello, this is Johnny's Desk with me, Mamie Sinyamiche Thompson. Coming up, opposition New Patriotic Party ready for the presidential primaries in less than 24 hours. We check preparations in the various regions and also hear from the Electoral Commission and the party. Also coming up, local government minister Ahmed Ibrahim criticizes plans by Wa Municipal Assembly to pull down Tindamba Primary School 24-hour economy market.
The school is being converted to a 24-hour market. Correct, it is not coming from my ministry. And I don't think President Mama will endorse that. So we will not collapse a school to build a market.
These plus some business updates on our desk. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Do stay for details. And in our election headquarters today, in less than 24 hours, the opposition New Patriotic Party will head to the polls with one aim: to elect a presidential candidate for the 2028 general elections. 5 stalwarts of the party, former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, former Agric Minister Dr. Brian Achampong, former Education Minister Dr. Yaosei Duchum, Kennedy Ohene Ejapong, and Kwabene Ejapong are vying for the slot. Well, without much ado, let's crisscross to the countryside with our correspondents and get what's happening around the country. And we head straight to the northern region. Martina Bugri is on the line with us. Martina, what are the activities that are ongoing in the constituency in those areas towards Saturday?
So this morning they are doing the distribution of the electoral materials to be sent to the various constituencies. The EC director tells us that when these materials get to the various constituencies, they will be stored at the various police district armories awaiting tomorrow. We are also being told that the police is deploying over 1,000 police officers to man these centers across the region. Now, what we do know also is that yesterday the police went through the principal streets of Tamale, showing their force, their preparedness, and what they can do to ensure peace in tomorrow's primaries. We are being told that Tamale South has the highest delegates who will be voting, over 1,000 delegates, and then we are also being told that a total of 12,474 delegates are expected to cast their votes in the northern region tomorrow.
Martina, have you also, got the opportunity to interact with delegates in the various constituencies to know their preparedness towards voting tomorrow?
Yes, so what they are doing now is they are doing the last minute pitching. They are also having various discussions on radio stations and TV stations in the region, doing their last minute bidding and trying to call the delegates to look forward to tomorrow.
Events like this also gives opportunities to traders and other residents to prepare towards the election. What are some of the activities that is going on in the constituency proper?
So you will see paraphernalia being sold. People are actually buying because it's a day tomorrow to exhibit some of the beautiful things that they have in terms of party paraphernalia. So you find a lot of people buying these paraphernalias. They've come up in the metropolis, especially in the market center. And so, yes, business is booming for people who are dealing with paraphernalia of the NPP.
So, Martina, in areas where the NPP lost the elections, in such constituencies, what are the preparations in those areas as well?
Now, in those areas, what we are being told is that they are not just looking at just this primaries, but they are also looking beyond the primaries. And so whilst they are talking to their people, they are also telling them to also begin to canvass votes for the party ahead of the 2028 election. So it's not just a primaries they are looking at just for today. They are also looking at how they can help the party put its foot on places that they lost.
Thank you so much for the updates from the northern region. We head to the Volta region now, speak to Ivy Setoji. Ivy, what's the latest in the region?
The delegates are ready for the elections tomorrow, coming up tomorrow across the region. That's most of the constituencies in the region. According to some of them we spoke to, they are very ready, getting ready to make sure that they are preferred candidates that are able to win these primaries tomorrow. So when you go across the constituency, Ketu South, Keta constituency, Anglo, Go Municipal, and other constituencies in the Hawk where people are gearing up for tomorrow. They have camps, they have their preferred candidates. So as we speak, people are still campaigning on what exactly to do for the last minute. And every camp is hopeful that their preferred candidates will take the lead in the Volta region and subsequently be the chosen one after this election.
And it is interesting that the various camps are preparing for this, but really when you listen to their considerations, what are they? What are the things you'll be looking out for to vote on Saturday?
Well, most of them are looking out for policies, good ones, grassroots engagement. That's what most of them are looking for. Also, jobs, candidates who can promise that the grassroots or the foot soldiers will not be left out after everything, and also some kind of engagement, some kind of assurances and good policies that will make the grassroots people, the delegates, campaign after the primaries, because according to some of them, after the primaries, they are still one party. So if the person brings good policies and they know this is what they want, that they can use to battle up with the NDC in the next coming election in 3 years, and they will be able to accept that person and then work with the person. So they're looking for that grassroots engagements and good policies.
Also, the Electoral Commission's preparation in the region, how's it been so far?
Well, they are very prepared, according to them, and according to what we've seen and heard. The Electoral Commission is very prepared for tomorrow. Everything is being put together, and all the constituencies in the Volta region to have the elections tomorrow.
Right. Thank you so much, Ivy Setoji, who is in the Volta region, for joining us. To the Bono region now and speak to Precious Semevo. So Precious, the same question to you. How are delegates preparing for tomorrow? Unmute and speak to us. Yes, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now, yeah. So
yeah.
Delegates, if you speak to them, they are ready for the exercise tomorrow. Just that they are not showing any sign. If you talk to the non-delegates too, they believe this is the business of the delegates. They will just keep quiet and watch them if they will go out there and then elect the right candidate, as they put it, for the party, someone who has what it takes to rescue power from the NDC come the next general election. So already the exercise will take place in Sunyani, that is Sunyani East, at the Pastoral Center here in Sunyani. Yesterday, my checks from the police regional headquarters indicated that the election materials which arrived on Tuesday were dispatched yesterday with the regional EC boss, Mr. Esriku Young, and the candidates' agents. Tight security followed it to the various constituencies where they are being kept under very, very tight security for the exercise tomorrow. If you walk through the town of Sunyani, it's as if nothing really is happening, but people are just quiet, observing and watching the outcome of the exercise tomorrow. And the anticipation is that the NPP will elect someone who is capable of taking power from the NDC in the next general election. And in the Bono region, 7,997 tomorrow.
Right, but Precious, how many delegates are poised to vote in tomorrow's election?
Yeah, so as I was just saying, in the Bono region, 7,997 delegates are expected to take part in the exercise in all the 12 constituencies in the Bono region. And as I earlier said, all these delegates are set for the exercise tomorrow.
Right, thank you, Precious Semevo, our Bono regional correspondent. We have on the line with us Fred Tete is Deputy Director of Research Monitoring at the Electoral Commission. We're grateful for your time. Also joining us is Evans Dimako, Director of Elections for the NPP. But let me start with the Electoral Commission. So far, break down for us the processes that have gone on so far in preparation for tomorrow's event.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. As a director of the Electoral Commission, I would like to take the opportunity to commend the Presidential Election Committee, the executives of the New Patriotic Party, the police administration as well, for the preparation and arrangement so far. Talking about preparation, I would like to look at it from 3 different angles. I would like to talk about the logistics, and as your correspondents in the regions were saying, they've attested to the fact that the materials, the ballot papers, the albums, key items that will be needed for the elections have reached destination, and distribution tomorrow to the polling centers will be completed, God willing. I would like also to touch on the personnel that will be managing the centers. Specifically, as I've been saying, this is an election that we don't need huge numbers of officials. And therefore, with directive of the Electoral Commission, what has been done is to restrict the personnel, the polling officials, specifically to our district election officers, which is the district electoral officer, their deputies, and then the secretaries. They are going to be the officials at the polling centers tomorrow. In terms of the key arrangement as to the setup, the arrangement has been to have the polling, as you know, starting from 7 in the morning and ending at 2 p.m. In the afternoon. to allow for enough time to be able to count and then announce the results and then the declaration. Per the structure, we're going to have 333 polling centers across the 16 regions. Some of the centers have been split. That's why maybe you'll be thinking of 267 constituencies and why 333. So we have some centers that have been split to make room for the numbers involved. The total number of delegates, as I may say, from the album that we received from the party is 211,800 plus. So those are the numbers that I'll be voting tomorrow. I would like to say that the commission is highly optimistic that these elections will be smooth, seamless, and successful tomorrow. The other thing that I would like also to say is that we've afforded, per the procedure for elections in Ghana, agents are allowed to be through and through the processes, from the printing of the ballot through the distribution from the head office to the region, and from the region to the district, and then to the constituencies. They've been involved. And therefore, as at now, we've not received any complaint from any of the 5 contestant candidates. Nonetheless, the commission would like to caution our officers as well that they should attend to this national duty with integrity, fairness, and in a transparent manner to ensure a peaceful process, as I said. From that, maybe I'd like to just give some few takeaways to the delegates. In these elections, there's not going to be proxy, and this is going to be the first time the NPP is going to a primaries or a national elections without proxy. And therefore, like you said, having Evans there, Evans, if he's a delegate, cannot vote as a proxy for someone who, for one reason or another, could not turn up on election day. The other thing that I would also like to say to ensure peace and to ensure fairness is that delegates should make sure that, as the Article 49 of the 1992 Constitution states, public elections is done or is conducted through secret balloting or secret voting. And therefore, to be an offense for anyone to go and vote and then show who she or he voted for, it's an offense. Such a ballot paper will be rejected. I also like to add as a takeaway, and that would be the fact that campaign processes ended yesterday in the evening, and therefore today we are not expecting any of the candidates to be campaigning, amassing people and campaigning. But obviously, you can't be doing house to house if you want to. For that one, yes. But my key thing is that on election day tomorrow, you can wear your NPP colors, but make sure you are not wearing a t-shirt, a cap, or a trousers, or whatever it is that belongs to any of the 5 candidates. When you do that, it is an offense against the bylaws, the guidelines that have been provided for the elections. Apart from that, I don't know whether you have time that I can walk you through the...
Go ahead, we're listening. We're listening.
On election day tomorrow, when the voting starts from 7, each of the polling centers going to have a maximum of 2 or 3 albums. Those albums will be distributed to the officials. We're going to have at every center what we call a queue controller. He will be at the entrance of the voting center, and we would like to appeal to the delegate. When you are going to the polling center, if you have an ID with your name, your picture on it, whether Ghana card, voter's ID, something that will expedite or facilitate the identification of your name in the album quickly, so that we can run very quickly and have the processes completed on time. So you carry it along. Your name will be inspected by in the album by the queue controller. If your name is found, then you are directed to go into the inner perimeter for your name again to be checked in at the second album. The same album, but we want to make sure that because we are not using the biometric processors, we would like to make sure that we do a check and check very well. So your name will be checked by the officer holding the register. If your name is found again in that register, then you are allowed to go through the process for balloting. So that's how the process will be. It's a very simple process, and we appeal to people to stick to that. When everything is said and done, we'll do the counting over there, sort the ballot according to the candidate, and then count, have the results announced by the presiding officer, who happen to be our district electoral officer. The results will be inputted in what we call the pin sheet or the results collation sheet, and then copies given to the agent of the candidate. I would like to say that if an agent refuses to endorse the result sheet, it doesn't stop the officer from moving ahead and having the results announced. We'll go ahead.
But on that, for clarity, if an agent doesn't endorse the results, maybe because of a dispute or a misunderstanding, does that not affect the authenticity of that result?
What we've done is that we provide kind of irregularity forms. If you have anything, you should be able to indicate it. On the result sheet itself, if you are refusing to sign, there are portions where you have to state the reason why you are refusing to sign. So kind of structures, things have been put in place to allow for process of resolving all those things. And if you refuse to sign the result, that doesn't invalidate the results. That's one thing that we should know in Ghana. We can go forward, we have to go forward with the results to the regional office of the Electoral Commission, where we are going to have the regional collation. Agent of the candidate will be there as well.
Right.
Results will be collated and then transmitted electronically to the headquarters of the Electoral Commission.
I beg your pardon, I would like to get more clarity. So in a situation where an agent has issues with the results, you've explained the processes they will have to go through. But will that result be collated, as part of the final results that will be announced?
Hello?
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I couldn't hear the latter part of your
Right,
question.
so I was asking that if an agent is contesting the results and goes through the laid-down procedures to make that dispute known, will that particular result be collated as part of the final results that will be announced?
Of course, if you have an issue, it depends on what type of issue that you're talking about, okay? If someone is not in the album, in the first place, the person should not be part of the process at all. So what is the issue at stake, okay? So if you are contending or contesting the results, we have a procedure for you to present your case. So when you present your case to the presiding officer, as we've been doing in the normal electoral processes, is it a case that totally invalidates the whole processes? Okay? We also give room for a recount. And this is a process that we've been doing in our electoral processes. So you have the right to call for a recount, to ask for a recount at the polling station or the polling center. The presiding officers have received instruction to allow for a recount. If it's done, and you still insist, we will do the results and move on.
All right. All right. What form of IDs will they need to allow them to vote?
I made mention of the Ghana card, voter's ID card, your passport, and any document that has your name and then your photo on it, because it's a photo album. Something that probably through marriage or something you've changed. Okay, so and maybe your outlook on that very day. Okay, but we want something to make sure that you are the one that we'll be talking about. So and that's what is required.
Thank you so much, Fred Tete. Is there any other thing you'd like to add before I let you off?
I think that's fine. My key problem is where people will go to the centers with the T-shirts and then the emblems, caps of a candidate that will start bringing confusion and trouble, and that's my problem. But NPP, as we know, has been one of the major stakeholders in our electoral processes. I believe they know the process of voting, and then the guidelines have been made known to all their delegates and then the candidate. And therefore, we expect them to comport themselves, and we know they are going to. We are also aware that they will come out in their numbers, okay, to participate in this peaceful, because it's a family affair. And therefore, if it's a family affair, no matter what, when we finish everything said and done, we'll go back to the same house and then talk. So we appeal to them. They should also respect the police, the security services that will be deployed to the polling centers. They should respect them. I would like to appeal to supporters who are not delegates. If you don't have any role, any duty, you are not a delegate, you don't need to be there. After you finish voting, please, as a delegate, go home. As we've been doing in Ghana, when it's time for counting, you can come back and observe the counting process.
Grateful, very grateful for your time. Fred Tete is with the Electoral Commission. Let's go back to the region, speak to Anas Sabit, who is in the Bono East region. Anas, what's the preparations there? But before then, Anas Sabit, what can you tell us?
Mame, all is set here in the Bono East region. We have over 8,000 delegates ready to decide who leads the new patriotic party tomorrow into the 2028 presidential elections. What we know is that the Electoral Commission, in terms of logistics, have received almost everything. They've dispatched it across the 11 constituencies. We have 12 polling stations across the 11 constituencies. The reason being that the Chiman South, which has a huge number with over 1,000 delegates, having 2 polling stations within the constituency. Apart from the Chiman South, the 10 other constituencies are having 1 polling station each. Apart from that, we have also been engaging the Ghana Police Service, who are solely in charge of security for tomorrow's polls. And Regional 2IC, or Deputy Regional Commander ACP Stephen Boyle, has told me that they have deployed over 800 men with 75 per polling station across the region, and they have backups to take care of unexpected circumstances. So they are cautioning delegates as well as people who may want to foment trouble to be mindful that the police are fully in charge of security, and no internal party security is going to be entertained here in the Bono East region. You also know that the party, from my engagement with the regional executives, they have sensitized the people on the need to be clean with their messages and to go into the polls with one thing in mind, that the bigger picture is the 2028 general elections. And so whatever happens tomorrow should not divide the party, as we've seen in the build-up to the elections. What is quite strange, however, is that we've seen or we've heard some regional executives showing their weight behind the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Biapaumia. There are reasons, according to them, the former Vice President has been marketed enough. He's very popular. He's a unifier, and we believe that he is the sole or he's the best candidate to represent the New Patriotic Party. Actually, they really want to restore power from the ruling NDC in the 2028 general election. So this has been the situation for now. All is set, and delegates are equally prepared to choose who leads the NPP tomorrow.
Thank you, Anas Sabitis, Bono East Regional Correspondent. Also joining us this morning is Nana Ajima in the Ashanti region. We have Nana Boachi Yadom joining us from the Ashanti region. Nana, what is happening there? What are the hot spots for this election?
Mami, see, the Ashanti region is solely prepared for this election tomorrow. We have 36,260 delegates expected to vote tomorrow. And we know that the Bosomtwe constituency is where one of the aspirants, Dr. Osaya Weduchum, comes from. And tomorrow we've spoken to his team. He's geared up for the election. He's expected to cast his votes early in the morning. We've also had our eyes on some campaign offices, including that of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in the Ashanti region. His campaign office is gearing up. A lot of preparations are being done by the team. In the Inshaeso constituency, we've also engaged some of the members of the Kennedy Japan campaign team. That is where one of his campaign coordinators, Stika, comes from. The MP for Stephen Amwa, the MP for Inshaeso, comes from. His team tells us that the Kennedy team is gearing up for the election tomorrow. We know that over 36,000 delegates are participating in the election tomorrow. And so all the delegates are waiting for tomorrow to cast their votes. We've spoken to the former majority leader, Osei Mensabonsu, who tells us that the Baumia campaign team is solely ready. The party has put a lot of measures in place. Security is going to be tight tomorrow. All the measures that have been laid out and the instructions given to delegates and then the candidates and their campaign team members are to be adhered to. Nobody should go against the protocol, and that the region is going to make sure that everything is fixed. The regional police is also putting up a lot of men who are going to make sure that they put security in place. Nobody goes contrary to the laid down rules, as tomorrow the NPP goes on to decide who becomes their next flag bearer.
Nana Boachi Yadom, thank you very much, bringing us updates from the Ashanti region. You're still watching Joy News Desk here on Joy News Channel. We'll take a break. We'll return shortly with more. Welcome back to Joy News Desk. Now, local government minister Ahmed Ibrahim has criticized plans by the Wa Municipal Assembly to pull down the Wa Tindamba Primary School for the construction of a 24-hour economy market. He says that neither he nor the minister or President John Dramani Mahama has sanctioned that. He disclosed that the market will be constructed, but at a different location in the municipality. Rafiq Salam reports.
This is the maiden meeting of the local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs minister Ahmed Ibrahim with members of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs since he took over office last year. His engagement with members of the August House that comprise of paramount chiefs and the Queen Mothers is to familiarize with them, listen to their concerns with a view to finding solutions to them. Fairly to the 24-hour economy policy of the government, which included the construction of 24-hour markets, Ahmed Ibrahim poo-pooed plans by the Wa Municipal Assembly to collapse the Tindamba Primary School for the construction of the 24-hour economic market. He was emphatic and straight to the point, and that the Tindamba Primary School, which was established in 1956, will not be pulled down.
I heard in the news yesterday that a school is being converted to a 24-hour market. Correct, it is not coming from my ministry. And I don't think President Mama will endorse that. So we will not collapse a school to build a market. Even if somebody has taken that step, that person needs to consult the Minister of Local Government.
That notwithstanding, he asserted that the market will be constructed at a different place rather than raising down a 70-year-old primary school.
Koro, we are building 261 markets in 261 districts. And we do the location together with the traditional authorities. And it must be a place that can be used 24/7. So if it is a school, don't go and raise that a school that is over 70 years old. That is not coming from the office of the president or the minister for local government. But that does not mean that the market will not be built. The market must be built, but join forces together, pull ideas together, consult together, and you get another strategic location where the market must be built. But to say you are going to raise a whole school, at least we should learn lessons from when we pull down judges' houses to say we are going to build a cathedral.
The local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs minister reaffirmed the unwavering commitment of the government's respect for the chieftaincy institution as enshrined in the country's constitution. He paid encomiums and laudations on the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, stating that it occupies a uniquely strategic position within Ghana's governance architectural structure. The Banda legislature, however, conceded that despite the critical role played by the chiefs and the Queen Mothers, they face enormous challenges. He penciled steps taken to tackle some of them.
Government have taken steps to have the amount allocated for adjudication of cases every quarter increase from 30,000 Ghana cedis to 50,000 Ghana cedis, effective 1st April 2026.
Vice President of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, Kura Abu Diaka Sunkebe Nania the Fifth, was praising the government for increasing their monthly allowances. He however tabled some concerns the House will want the minister to help fix.
Many of us do not have traditional councils to function, and I'm sure the merger of the two ministries indicates clearly that our support will come from the local government sector. We play an important role in terms of mobilizing people and resolving conflicts which would have in our absence evolved to become very deadly. But we need administrative officers to function adequately.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
As climate change intensifies across Ghana, more families in the northern region are being forced to make difficult choices. With rising temperatures, prolonged droughts and erratic rainfall threatening crop yields, many women are migrating south to cities like Accra and Kumasi in search of better opportunities. There's more in the following report.
Climate change is driving migration, particularly among rural female farmers who move to cities like Accra and Kumasi to engage in informal work such as head poaching. While often viewed as a negative consequence, this migration has become a crucial strategy for household resilience, with migrants sending remittance back home to help families cope with climate change impact. Remittances serve as a safety net, enabling families to adapt to changing environmental conditions. However, there's a lack of data on migration's impact on household well-being through remittances. Migrants face reintegration challenges and risky practices, with many experiencing urban poverty and low earnings.
Mama omo ahwan na be kwa akoma omo nti me ye adwuma na omo pa bibia me tumi me wo bi nkwa de mema me ne bi kura me force anya bi ama omo me busia nkwa na wo me ba na eda me nan su
me se me nye adwuma me se this kama me mama no asham
me free wala ha se ye bre no ba ye krom de ye mbre sa ye mbre so ye nye sika wo ho no anso bre obenya bi so ne de ento wo ho no nti eme aduane na entima anye bebre se da ya no entima anye se ne mo te se me ba no sa no hu fa na omo be ka kire na mama omo sika ene me nwia ne mo.
Many migrants do not experience the improved quality of life they expect, facing urban poverty, low earnings, and social stress. A headquarter shared how slow the market is, linking it to cheap prices people offer.
Me ba anya enough na me nyama ha na me market ne
kai you know se ti aye nanti aye nya adwuma egusi sresre ya man fo se o mo fa ya adwuma bebre so o mo mpene fa.
In Ghana, the northern region, they are located in a dry, harsh zone. So when they have prolonged droughts, when they have unpredictable rainfall distribution, it affects their agricultural productivity, which in turn affects their livelihood because they're dependent on this agricultural productivity. So when they come, they get some money and they send it back home. And that's known as remittances. The household then can use the money to supplement their income. So remember that the agricultural productivity has been affected because of the negative effects of climate change. In fact, the studies prove it, that households that receive remittances are much more likely to build climate resilience as compared to households that do not receive remittances.
In a further development, Dr. Gatchet says migration is often viewed negatively due to the strain on social amenities in urban centers, but this is the time for government to intervene. For
migration to be promoted as an adaptation tool, the government needs to acknowledge it as an adaptation tool. When you look at the National Adaptation Plan, it's not explicitly stated that migration is an adaptation. So we need migration to be accepted as an adaptation tool or acknowledged as an adaptation tool. Hereby, we can have structures put in place that can govern migration. That right now, when remittances are sent home, in as much as it helps households, it's considered as a private money. And there are certain systems in place whereby such remittances can be used for some of the things back home, like irrigation systems and storage facilities and training of farmers on how to cope with climate change.
Climate change-related migration is a multifaceted issue that presents both challenges and opportunities.
This story is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with CDKN Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from CLARE R4I Opportunities Fund.
Government has reaffirmed its commitment to expanding support for persons with disabilities nationwide. At the Jolu Special School, Deputy Chief of Staff Nanaoye Bampo Ado emphasized the need for inclusive policies that leave no one behind. There's more in the following report.
Persons with special needs face daily challenges, navigating a world with limited resources and opportunities. Despite these obstacles, they continue to learn, to adapt, to push toward their potential. And in the course of this, showing courage and determination that inspires those around them. At the Jowulu Special School here in Accra, Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of administration, Nana Oyebampuad, highlighted government support for students with disabilities through initiatives like the Get Fund Act amendment, free SHS, and student loans.
Government is going to do a lot for persons with disability. The Get Fund Act has been amended in Parliament, and now we have all the special schools being given special resources to aid and support them. When you read our manifesto, there are several proposals, and we have promised that we will implement all the proposals to support persons with disability, especially the young students.
She made this remark at the opening of her 60th birthday celebrations at the school, using the occasion to reaffirm her continued support for children with special needs.
Persons with disability are our brothers and sisters. Some of them are vulnerable. So at 60 years, I thought it best to come and spend and have a to show gratitude and share my joy with the students and children and management of the Jowulu School.
Headmaster of the school, Frederick Tete, expressed appreciation for her consistent support and encouraged other Ghanaians to assist children with disabilities.
As the leader of this, I want to express my appreciation to Nanoye for spending time with the kids today. I want to see this opportunity to appeal to other well-meaning Ghanaians to support every special child in the country, because when they are supported, they can also be independent in society and do something for themselves and contribute their quota to the nation that we are in now.
Children with special needs continue to receive support through government programs, school initiatives, and community assistance, all aimed at improving access to education and resources. For Joy News, Evelyn Ampere's report, read to you.
We have business now. Michelle is in the studio. Michelle, what's for business?
So let's get into our stories. President of Tetracore Energy Group, Olankule Williams, says the company remains committed to continued investment in Ghana to expand energy access and drive growth across the continent. There's more in this report.
Tetracore Energy Group has commissioned Ghana's first compressed natural gas facility at Pung, here in the Greater Accra region, a feat in the nation's transition to cleaner energy. The $15 million facility provides a safer, cleaner, and more affordable gas option for industrial, commercial, and transport consumers, while enhancing national energy security and cutting carbon emissions. It is complemented by 10 mm SCAF pressure regulation and metering system and a 2.5-kilometer pipeline network constructed to international safety and operational benchmarks. Local participation featured prominently in the project, with Ghanaian engineers and professionals supporting capacity building, skills transfer, and employment creation. Here is President and Chief Executive Officer of Tetracore Energy Group, Olakunle Williams.
Plans are already underway to establish piped and virtual gas distribution facilities across key demand energy centers in the country. And like I said earlier, we intend to scale up this facility to 10 million scf per day, and also establish key energy parks across key locations with a plan to deploy over $80 million in capex over the next 18 months to rapidly scale and spread our energy footprint across key markets in Ghana. But also, I want to use this medium to announce a major project that we are very particular about, which we've commenced, which we intend to realize very, very quickly. And that has to do with the launch of our 1,200 metric tons per day urea production facility, as well as a 5,000 barrels a day synthetic gas to liquid production facility.
Managing Director in charge of subsidiaries, Tetracore Energy Group, Oladayo Williams, touches on long-term sustainability and scalability of the project.
What this definitely signifies is that Africa is beginning to take shape in terms of
positioning itself for cleaner sources of energy that propels our industrial and our energy growth across the continent. So it's something to be proud of. It's a 5.1 million scoff per day CNG facility that would support not just industries but also mobility CNG and auto CNG, across Ghana, and we hope that this would be the beginning of additional energy infrastructures like this in Ghana and generally across the African continent. For us,
Director of the United Nations University Institute for Natural Resources in Africa, Professor Fatima Denton, is calling for development of resilient systems to support Africa's transition to clean energy. Speaking at the closing workshop of the Innovate for Clean Agricultural Technologies project, she stressed the need to build strong coping mechanisms to sustain emerging innovations and technologies driving the shift to cleaner energy.
The Innovate for Clean Agricultural Technologies project, implemented by the United Nations University Institute for Natural Resources in Africa, seeks to promote the adoption and diffusion of affordable clean energy solutions to boost agricultural productivity. The initiative highlights how clean agri-tech innovations can transform farming systems and livelihoods. Speaking at the workshop, Professor Fatima Denton emphasized the importance of strengthening institutional and policy frameworks to support the transition to cleaner energy sources.
Climate change and some of the devastation we're seeing, especially in terms of land systems, is affecting Africa more than any other continent. We're very much land dependent. So we need to have resilience, because our resilience sometimes, if a flood comes and that flood it would take years for those people to recover from the devastation that the flood would have created. So we need to build inbuilt resilience so that people would have coping mechanisms, they would have buffer, they would have incentives that would support them. So that resilience for me is the core sort of anchor. And this project has been very much around creating the technologies required, but also building the resilience that is needed so that women entrepreneurs as well as women farmers can cope.
Program coordinator at Enda Energy, Jean-Pascal Correa, said the project is helping women engaged in agriculture overcome key production challenges by integrating clean energy solutions into their operations.
I will call it access to this technology. I was talking about women groups that need this technology, but sometimes they even don't know that it is available somewhere. You have to create this in terms of alleviating a kind of barrier called information. It's a basic one, but it's the first barrier we have to alleviate in terms of making this technology known, seen, available to those who need it, the end users.
As part of the project, selected innovators received a total of $37,000 in seed funding to scale up their solutions. Some of the beneficiaries shared their experiences with Joy Business.
What we're doing was we're manufacturing agric machines, rice threshers and other agric machines, and they were all diesel powered, so which is not green, but through the program we're able to transition from the diesel engines to solar, like 100% solar. So it means that when the machines are on field and the farmers are using it, it's not going to emit any CO2 into the system, which will contribute to climate change and all that.
We have to improve on these machines that we produced, so these monies will be invested back into the machine to make them viable for the farmers to use.
The Innovate for Clean Agricultural Technologies project was implemented in selected rural communities across Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, and Senegal.
Business right here. I'm Michelle Lejekum. The small business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Mamisi.
Thank you, Michelle, for business. And that's all from us here on Joy News Desk. See you again next week.